Welcome to another episode of the Tailgate. Today I'm in very windy Leeds, Alabama, with defensive coordinator, strength and conditioning coach, Eddie Wall. How are you?
It's good. Nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
No, it is kind of nice to meet you. I've seen you over the years.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know that we've ever really stopped and really chatted and stuff. So I'm excited to talk to you and get to know you a little bit.
I hope I have some interesting stuff to say.
You will.
Okay.
For sure. We'll bring it out of you.
Okay.
So how long have you been at Leeds?
I am next football season will be my 6th year at Leeds. My first year was the 2018 season. So that'd be 5 years. No, that's 6 years. It's something like that. I didn't do good at math.
18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23?
6, yeah.
So 6 years?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't realize you'd been that long. You were at Clay before that?
I was at Clay teaching and coaching starting in the 12 season. So I made it 5 years there.
Okay.
And I was actually there kind of behind the scenes off and on the whole time from starting when Coach Hood got there, which I think would have been the 9 season.
Yeah.
So however you want to add all those years up together, I was there in some shape, form, or fashion.
Okay. What all did you coach out there?
At Clay, I did the freshman O-line and D-line for the 11 season. That was the 1 year I was actually on the field volunteer coaching for them. I went to Mississippi for a year because I did a certification through the University of Mississippi there. And then when I came back starting in the 12 season, I kind of ran the weight room, the freshman version of the weight room for Coach Gilmer. I still did the O-line and the D-line, and I called the defense up until the 16 season where I was the freshman head coach and still did everything else. So those were all my jobs over there football-wise.
Wow. A lot of hats.
It was a lot of hats, but it was a good learning experience. Coach Hood did a great job of knowing I was a young coach and just feeding me a little bit more maybe than I thought I could handle each year, just to make sure that everything was being done and I was learning how to do it. And hopefully one day I might be able to have a program of my own. And if not, I was just good at learning how to organize different aspects from weight room organization, practice organization, dealing with parents, how to deal with any behavior issues that might have come up, and then just learning how to deal with kids. That's at the end of the day what we're all here for, just to make sure these student athletes and the children in the school have the best experiences they can while we're around them.
What's it like being under a guy like Coach Hood? What is he like?
Well, I've been with him as a player or a coach going into, I think it's our 21st season now. When I got to Oak Mountain High School in the fall of 2002, after coming from the middle school, he was the linebackers coach and D coordinator, but I was on the offensive side of the ball, so I really didn't have a lot of interaction with him. He became the head coach my junior year, and since then it seems like we've been inseparable. So I guess I like being under him or working with him. No, but he does a great job. He demands a lot out of his coaches and his players, but he works harder than any of us. Like sometimes you're sitting there and you're like, oh man, he's doing more than me. And it makes you feel, I don't want to say lazy, but you start looking around for something, anything to do. Because the head coach does so much more stuff that you don't see, so you don't want to be seen as him outworking you.
Yeah.
But I think the kids love playing for him. He demands a lot, but he loves a lot too on those kids, and it's worked out great, I guess, over his career. He's had a lot of success.
Yeah, well, leading by example like that, it kind of creates a standard, just seeing him work that hard.
It does, and it instills a level of respect, so at least when he asks you to do something, it's not something that he wouldn't have done. And sometimes you try to find the solution, or you try to find the problem before he gets to it, so he can focus on what head coaches need to focus on, and not is there tennis shoes on the locker room floor, things like that.
Yeah. Are there any similarities coaching at a place like Clay-Chalkville and now coaching at a place like Leeds High School?
The kids are all the same. Great kids that just want to do the right thing, and kids that want to experience success, because let's just face it, being successful is more fun. when we were at Oak Mountain, we had really bad years, and then my senior year, we were very fortunate to be the team that went to the semifinals. And while we had fun all 4 years we were there, and all anybody still talks about over there is the 2005 football season. It's still a level. But other than that, I mean, each place has its unique challenges with the kids. But they're still just kids that need discipline. They want discipline. They want to be loved, and we want to be loved by them. So it's fun every day and every year getting a different crew of young men and seeing how we can be successful and what fun we can have along the way.
Yeah. But so you're the strength and conditioning coach out here too, right?
I am. I like to tell people I just print the workouts and the kids do the hard work. But yeah, I guess you could say that.
So what goes into it for you? I mean, it's got to be more than just finding something online and printing it.
Yeah, a lot of it I have discovered over the years is everything works. Like, I like to follow all these people on Twitter. Brandon Herring at Hewitt's one of my favorite.
He's sat up here before.
Yeah. Guy named Cody Hughes. He's at Madison Academy. I follow him. And we all have different philosophies probably on what works and what can work and what shouldn't work. But at the end of the day, and over the years, I've learned if you will just have an organized plan that can be successful in whatever environment and time frame you have, and then if you can make it fun and make the kids understand that you've just got to do the work that's up there, you'll experience success in the weight room. And I tell mine all the time, we just got done maxing, and I'm like, the best part about the weight room is it don't lie. Like, you can be out on the football field and just be a genetic freak and just be better than people, and you can skate by for a long time. At some point, it'll catch up with you. But on max day, like I've got Kavion right here behind the camera, he knows on squat day, his old max was 415, 450, one of those two numbers.
Jeez.
And he knows on that day, he's got to go up.
Got to go up.
Okay? Now, at those high numbers, it's a little different, but he understands that it takes work, and on a certain given day, on max day, it's like Friday nights, it's competing time, and you're going to win or you're going to lose. And the kids have bought into that really well. I have zero trouble with Leeds kids trying to get them to work out. They love it.
Yeah. You mentioned one guy in particular, Brandon Herring, the S&C coach at Hewitt-Trustful. Now, when he sat up here, he had some food takes as the strength and conditioning coach. I'm trying to think of something. Strawberry jelly over grape. Peanut M&Ms over regular. He talked a lot about peanut butter. You have any food takes that you want to offer up? What's a good food take of Eddie Wall's?
A good food take of mine. That could be a question in itself. I do agree with peanut M&Ms are vastly superior,
no doubt,
to any other M&M on the market.
Zero question.
Jelly, I don't know.
We also talked about how Thanksgiving food's overrated.
Thanksgiving, well, no, there is that. Okay, I'm glad you said that. That is one of mine. Thanksgiving traditional food, overrated. Turkey, good. Don't get it.
Agreed.
Dressing's good. I like having all the vegetables and everything. What my family has done here about probably in the last 8 or 9 years is my brother's a really good cook. And one day I told my mom that. I was like, Mom, I'm just tired of, because she asked what we wanted. I was like, I don't want turkey. I don't want ham. And she asked, well, what if Patrick just bought a rib roast or whatever meat he wanted to buy, and he cooked it? I said, deal. So ever since then, on Thanksgiving, Easter, and Christmas, whatever he wants, he buys, and that's what we eat. Like last Christmas, we had oysters, A5 Wagyu beef, and I had a porterhouse. So
now I can get behind that kind of Thanksgiving.
And that's much better than every year. Be like, all right, it's the one time we're going to have turkey.
I mean, it's legit. Like, if it was so good, we would do it more than one time a year.
Now, I like turkey. It's just knowing that you're going to go in and you're going to have turkey and ham. It's like, we've done this for 150 years or however long in America. Like, let's change this up.
Right. So how about Leeds here on the field on Friday nights? Pretty good defense these last couple of years. Just kind of tell me about some guys and just kind of what y'all look for on Friday nights out of the defense.
Well, it all starts with just great players. It's very easy to have the success we've had with some outstanding players that have come through the programs here. I'm just going to speak for myself. When I was the DC, that would be going into my 5th year doing that. I mean, we've had Kavion, CJ Douglas was a 4-year starter, obviously an outstanding football player. Along with Kavion, you've got Chris Burge, Joseph Stone, Nick Davis. You've got a whole lot of people behind them who are just as good. They put in just as much work, gives us depth. But I'd say the interesting thing here that's happened at Leeds, and this could be a difference between a school like Clay, a bigger school, and a school like Leeds. It's been exciting every year seeing which piece from maybe a kid coming out of the hallways or moving the kid from offense to defense or defense to offense is going to come in and fit and make the defense whole. Like I would feel real bad if I left out. Like 2 years ago, we had Jonathan Douglas come in on. He had played for a few years, took a year off, came back his senior year, and he was a kid at the will linebacker who just made the defense fit. It allowed, I forget who it allowed, somebody to go to offense, and it made the offense fit. And this past year, we had a kid come from baseball. Same idea. So now I'm always looking for a baseball player to come be that third linebacker for me.
Right.
It was Alex Bradford. Played for 2 years, took a year off, came back his senior year, and he became quite possibly one of the best Mikes we've ever had. He was tough. He could cover the pass. He got everybody in the right position. And he was 5'11", 180. And those are like linebackers. I mean, at corners, we had Jamal Jordan and Tanner Chambers a few years ago come from the basketball team and just give us 2 corners. Allowed CJ and another kid to play safety. This last year, it was Zane Hood and Demorian Keenan. Demorian came from offense. Zane came from basketball. He gave us 2 safeties, which allowed some kids to go play offense only, like Jalen Felder and a few others, and it makes it fit. And it's going to be the same thing this year. Somewhere in that locker room are kids that we haven't thought about or kids that we haven't seen in pads yet that are going to come in, be that linchpin, be that guy who will allow both sides of the ball to play one way, which is a huge thing in 5A.
Yeah. So before we jump ahead to 2023, we're still a few months out. I want to go back to 2022. 2 games in particular. How crazy was the Moody Leeds game? Because I'll tell you this, some of us that cover the games on Friday nights, that game wasn't in our coverage area.
Right.
But we were trying to find enough staffing to cover the over-the-mountain type games we were covering that night so that some of us could come out here and cover Leeds Moody because we wanted to. Didn't work out. Of course, the game ended up epic.
Yes.
So that game and then a little less fun Ramsey. So just tell me about both.
So the Moody game is what high school football is about. 2 towns separated literally by one bridge. At one point you're in Leeds, and then there's just an imaginary line, and you're in Moody. Our line's the bridge for whatever reason it is. And we knew going into the season, even going into the game with them last year, that they were going to be a great team because they were going through the same things under Coach Wallace that we went through when Coach Hood first got here. You're playing all 8th, 9th. I mean, we started Kavion as an 8th grader. We started CJ as a freshman. Jared Lattis started as a freshman. All these kids, and then they play for 3 or 4 years. They get a lot of game experience. More importantly, they get older, and they're physically just as good now as the kids you're going against. They had been going through the same thing, so we knew that they were going to be a really tough team anyway. And then you throw in, they get Coach Gaines. They get a little energy about themselves. They start winning, and winning breeds confidence. I've always said that. And so you end up looking like it's going to be us versus them, not only in the biggest rivalry of the year, but now, what was it, a 2-versus-3 game at the time or something like that for the region championship? Towns are only a mile apart. We hadn't been playing each other regularly except the last 3 years, so a lot of pent-up rivalry. So it was awesome. Packed crowd, excitement on both sides of it. An absolutely epic game defensively. I like to say that defense is what wins games. That's just selfishly of me. 2 great defenses win against each other. I know Moody's offense got a lot of credit, and deservedly so. They were amazing, but their defense was really good as well. And it came down to 14-13, awesome game.
How'd you hold that team to 13 points?
I have really good players.
That's the perfect answer.
Yes.
So
I had really good players going against their really good players. And just really good players.
Really good players. How about Ramsey?
So Ramsey was a game that, we were in control of it for a lot of things. And it's just one of those life examples that you can do almost everything right. And we try to tell our kids all the time, you can do everything in your power right, and you're not going to get maybe what you think you deserve. Okay, like, did we deserve to win that game? I don't know. All I know is that we lost, so you can't really say, well, we deserve to win. Did we prepare hard enough and practice hard enough and play hard enough to win? 100% think so. But when the time hit zero, we did not. So it's a challenge to the kids coming back. I mean, are you happy with that result as being a third-round team, what we want to be around here? And, I mean, you can't take anything away from that. That's an absolute outstanding accomplishment. 7 other teams played on the field that night. But it does give you some extra motivation. It's something to work for, knowing that you were that close to dethroning what ended up becoming the state champions. And it does kind of stick in your mind, like, maybe that could have been us. But like we tell our kids, that was last year. We don't talk about it a lot. I think I talked about it once or twice in January and February, but now it's after spring break. So it's just a game that happened last year that hopefully these kids can look back on one day and say, I played in it. I mean, I know I've played in one Elite Eight game when I was a player. Yeah. It's not something a lot of kids get to do, so I hope they can remember that it was something very special they did.
Seems like 2023, there's a lot to look forward to with this squad.
There is. I mean, we've got a lot of great players coming back. Got Kavion. I mean, the whole D-line's coming back. Most of the offensive line's coming back. Connor Nelson's coming, the quarterback. Jalen Felder's coming back. I'm just trying to think of all the returning starters on offense. Miles Jones, the running back, is coming back. Defensively, I've got both corners coming back. Like I said, the whole D-line coming back. One linebacker, Josh Lee's coming back. But we've shown here that it doesn't matter what hype there might be, because we're going to train these kids, and all the kids I think in the locker room would echo it. We're going to train y'all whether we've got 22 5-star, All-American, can't miss, future Hall of Famers, right, or if it's a bunch of people like me and you trying to run around out there just hoping we can get our cleats on at the right time. We're training you the right way, the way we know how, the way we know that works. Yep. And hopefully they'll buy in. And if they do that, I think the sky's the limit for the team. Not going to say it's not, because I don't go into seasons not expecting to win.
Right. So outside of football,
okay,
give me a couple things about you, personality-wise, something you do outside of football that people might not know or someone might find interesting.
I like to work out. It's my little stress reliever, whether I'm doing it at the gym up here or I go to CrossFit Trustville. It's just my little hour and a half time a day where I get to listen to the music I want to as loud as I want to if I'm by myself, if I'm out in public.
What's in the headphones?
What's in the headphones? That is a great question. A lot of stuff. I can go, depends on what I'm doing. If I need some extra juice that day, Stuart Floyd hates me for it, but I'll throw on some pretty heavy metal. Okay. And that's an inside joke. He'll get it. He'll hate me for it. Or if I'm doing some cardio, it might be some like 2000s punk.
Okay. Well, Blink-182.
Blink-182, yeah. I'll throw in some 90s rap, some country. I mean, it kind of just depends on what I feel like that day.
I like it. A lot of things.
You never know what might get you. So I've worked out to Mozart before and had a max bench press. So
that's interesting.
It's all just mostly what I'm feeling that moment, really.
Feeling some Mozart to bench. That's a new one.
Well, I was tired of listening to everything else, so I had to switch it up.
What else? Anything else?
I work for a brewing company. It's called Oak Mountain Brewing Company. They've been open 2 years now. Got started in that because my best friend, he's the GM, and I guess going into 2021, I got out of coaching some other sports. I had some free time, and he called me, and it was him because him and I became friends a long time ago back in high school, worked at Baumhauer's together.
Okay.
He was like, I know you're always looking for a little extra work just for your golf money and to have hunting money. He goes, I've got a position open. That's now what I do it for.
That's cool. We've got to have golf money and hunting money.
Yeah. Those aren't cheap habits.
Those are not cheap habits.
Especially when you lose as many balls as I do.
I totally understand. I mean, I played high school golf, but I understand. I understood it then, and I understand it now.
Yes.
So anything else you want to chat about, or
Well, I've seen your lineup list, and I think you might need to change the show to our group chat name, because you've had me, Mills, Stu, you got Monsa. You're missing John Clements.
Got to get John.
Yeah, and Jesse Turner and Jackson Williamson, who works up here. you get all them, you got a big bulk of our little coaches group chat / golf. That's our golfing group too.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that sounds like a good chat to be a part of.
it can be.
Does it get competitive even in the chat?
Golf especially, yes.
I figured.
Because Kevin Connor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's in there too, and he's definitely, he loves talking about how good he is.
Is he the best golfer in the chat?
No.
Who's the best golfer in the chat?
John and Tosma.
Oh, and Sean too.
Yeah, Sean T. Yeah,
My gosh,
they're the
there's
two
like
best.
a lot of people in this chat.
Could be a future Hall of Fame.
There you go. There you go. Well, that sounds good. Well, I appreciate you doing this.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Yes.
Taking the time. Y'all like the video, click the little thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and click the little bell for notifications. And we'll see you back again soon for another one of these.